Hello, hello. Let's see. How are you doing? Ooh, I can see my own chin. That's not good. I'm trying to be very, very careful here. I have a setup for today with a mirror, and you can go to Instagram and check out my stories if you're interested in seeing how safe it is. I need one of those clamp arms, you know, that you can bend and you can fixate stuff. So today I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a self-portrait, and I'm gonna start and then I'm gonna talk about why. We are again dealing with a bit of a sunlight, daylight. Now the sun is suddenly starting to shine. It's 8 p.m. I'm not sure what's going on. So it might be a little bit too light. Now, can we fix that? This is good. And as it goes, grows darker, we're gonna have to see if we have to turn on a light. So I have a very exciting stick of charcoal here, and I have this paper stump that I made, and I have a little brush, and I also have a kneadable gum. Did I say gum? It's eraser. It's gum in Dutch. I also have some, but I can't show you, some charcoal powder from sort of sharpening this a little bit. I use this stone that was in my grandfather's art supplies, and he filed, I think he sharpened a lot of things on this stone, because there's a slit in here where you can see that he sharpened probably graphite leads that he put in the holder. So I have a mirror like right there. I'm gonna try and draw from that. You can draw yourself. You can draw me in the second camera. There's no reference photo. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the whys and hows, etc. Let's see in the chat. Dylan was streaming early today, and I happened to catch him, so I was very happy about that. Kelly is here. Hi, Kelly. And Suzanne is here. Welcome. Snap ik. Yeah. Sometimes my English crosses over in my Dutch, and my Dutch crosses over in my English, so that's fine. I'm gonna draw myself without glasses, because contrary to Dylan, I am not a huge fan of drawing. Oh, that's spot on. sometimes you get the 1/3, so in one go. Melissa is here. You can call it gum in English too if it's a gum. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Oh, that's interesting. All right. This is new for me, and this is kind of weird. So I would appreciate it if you would not have terribly high expectations of what is going to happen. I did live streams, and I started doing some stuff on color and some pigments, and that was a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun because we're gonna do a lot more episodes in those series because I like him. But what happened is that I got very stuck in my head because it's a lot of thinking, and it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of practical stuff. And I noticed this week my lesson for Let's Face It was in its second week. I did 2 weeks, and I had some people tell me, it's great, and I appreciate that so much. You think it's great, but it's also a lot of information, and that got me, that resonated with me. Whenever there's a ton of information that I need to process, I get, I can't work freely. And frankly, everything I make during that time, I'm never really happy with it, because it takes so much effort and so much brain work that it feels forced. Renata is here. Hi. Renata, how are your kids? And did you have a good time visiting them? So, I started doing self-portraits. When I wanted to try and see if I could take this art thing into a direction where I could take myself serious. And I started doing self-portraits because my theory was that if I was not able to look at myself and draw myself or paint myself, then I would not be able to draw other people in an honest way. And the reason why I thought that was because somebody once told me that if you can't love yourself, you can't love other people. And of course I was like, no, of course not. That's bullshit. I love a lot of people. I just don't love myself. And frankly, I am not I haven't made up my mind if that is something that I think is valid. But maybe part of me does think that it holds some kind of truth, because why else would you consider the theory that if you can't draw yourself, then you can't draw others, right? So I started doing a lot of self-portraits. In order to figure out, basically figure out what would happen if I would just stare myself in the face for a very long time. And I think I documented some of that on social media and some of my classes. And then I had a whole period of time where I focused on technique a lot, which was fine, which was good. But recently I felt like, I'm missing a little bit of that initial reason why I started doing art. And that was really to explore, for me, it was to explore what my view of things was. Because I do believe that no matter how good or experienced or realistic you draw or paint, or how abstract you draw or paint, at the end of the day, I feel like your art is a representation of your view of the world. And I understand that we have categories for that, with all kinds of art, but I feel like every art in every category is a view that somebody has of the world. It's good to hear that you're having a good time, Renata. I'm trying to imagine what it's like when your kids live in a different country. Mine just left for guitar practice. So this is in no way going to be a realistic anything. And I'm not even sure if, what it's a representation of right now. And you can get all philosophical about it or spiritual about it, whatever you want. But I find, personally for me, and I don't object against people, trying to find more behind anything. But for myself, the act of just doing this is what matters to me. Like, I don't need to think about why I create what I create, or what kind of emotion is behind it, or I like the practical act of creating in this way. And then letting it go. That's probably my favorite part, right? I'm curious if you have ever, well, it doesn't have to be a self-portrait, but if you've ever created a portrait without the intention of making it making it as realistic or representational as can be. If you want to share any of that. I'm very interested in the whole process and what it does to people. I've also found that not everyone, you know, in terms of audience, not everyone reacts very positively to the outcome. Like, I have no quarrels, I have no issues with sharing this type of work. It's very strange and nerve-wracking to do this on a live stream because, like I said before, I started off doing, you know, a lot of technical stuff, and this perhaps is a bit more yeah, I wouldn't say vulnerable, but you know, somebody could come in and say, like, what are you doing? My 5-year-old can do that. I found that sometimes when you post stuff like this, people are not always happy. And people become very uncomfortable with my way of seeing some things. Hi, Pamela. Good to have you here. Melissa says, I mostly strive for representational, but I want to branch out and use a reference as more of a jumping off place. That's a nice trick with the brush to get smooth. Yeah, this is, I don't even know what this is. This is probably an old brush that they use for glue in school, where you have the jars of glue and you just dump the brush in. But it's just a very stiff hog. bristle. Looks like a stencil brush. Yeah, I don't know if it is. Maybe. It's definitely not a pro. Nothing pro. I am no Robert Kelly, but I have found that if you have a bunch of different items that you can displace your charcoal with, that really helps. Right, because some things pick up charcoal more than other things. So if I, for instance, I have this little brush here, and that's a very subtle value shift. I do it with a paper stump. That's also pretty subtle. And then I put my finger on it, it's like gone, charcoal gone. This is not as quiet, I think, as paint. I'm not sure how much of it my microphone is picking up right now, but Kelly says, I'm very thankful for this space that you provide, sharing presence, love and appreciate all the invaluable technique that you share. I'm mostly, oh, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you. I think that's one of the things where we connected the most. You know, the people that are here and people are on my social media, I think what we connected on with the most was the idea that art is more than just putting stuff on canvas or putting stuff on paper, and that it's more than just, you know, getting the values right and getting the shapes right and getting lines and colors and all of these things. And I've said that before, are incredibly valuable things. And there are people who make their lives, make it their life's passion to get as good as they can be at that. And that's just not necessarily just the thing that I want to do. And for me, this whole business of values and shapes and colors and all the things that we've been exploring, for me, are a way that I feel like if I can master that without too much error and too much effort, then I have more ways to explore what I want to explore. And that is basically the way that I look at things. I want to explore the way that I look at things. I want to explore stuff I dream about and stuff that bothers me and keeps me up, and that includes my own face, because, you know, it's a thing. And you're at, or I'm at a point where either you deal with it or I feel like it's going to consume me if I don't deal with it. I don't want to end up this bitter, even older person, like, I'm so ugly and I'm so this and I'm so that. So I kind of want to know why that is. Why is it that I can look at someone that I don't necessarily want to fall in love with or kiss, or, you know, oh my god, you're so attractive. Why can't I look at some other person and be like, okay, you look cool? But I can't look at myself without wanting to punch the mirror. I'm not going to punch the mirror because it's on a very unstable surface right now. But you get what I'm saying, right? And this is something that, again, either you let it consume you, or you find a way to transform it into something. I need Coke, as in Diet Coke, not like the actual stuff. We can't do that on a live stream. Suzanne. Hold on, let me catch up on the... Javar. Drawing you now. Made 2 self-portraits. Not very happy with the outcome. Promise to make one of my... I'm curious what you... why you're not happy with the outcome. What you expected of the outcome. If you want to share. The scratches are good hair. Feels like I'm in a studio with others. Yeah, I wish we could, though, for real. When others receive our art with warmth, it feels right. It's a moment of being seen, not as broken, but as meaningful, creating and sharing. That is some good stuff. That is some good stuff. Suzanne, thank you. I'm gonna cry. I'm literally 5 minutes off my period, so I'm still in crying mode over everything. Hello, Dylan. Yes, I have a mirror shower on. I was looking for something high, and I don't have, like, who has high stuff like that you can put on your table. So I have this bottle. It's not really okay. Here's the thing. We have a nice tradition in the Netherlands called alcoholism. And instead of just being like, okay guys, we know it's bad for us, but we're gonna do it anyway. Dutch people were like, no, we're gonna attach medicinal properties to 30% alcohol, 30%, and just party on. So I got this bottle at the thrift shop, which I thought was hilarious because I was like 3 months or 6 months sober. It didn't look like me at all, had no idea of proportions, practice more, because let's face it, Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I think your own face is a really great tool to practice with. And you know, besides from all the emotional whatnots, it's really just very convenient because you know, you carry your face around everywhere. You can draw it anytime you want, any angle you want. I took so many photos back then, especially when you want to practice a certain angle. You can just do that with your phone or camera, whatever you want. You were wondering about the bottle. Yes, alright, so what does it say? It says, I don't know how to translate it. It says kruidenbitter, which is basically just a really strong alcoholic drink with some herbs in it. And it says here it's made of herbs. It contains 3 liters. 3 liters. That's a lot of alcohol. And it helps against fever and it raises the appetite. Okay. Yep. I think my grandfather used to drink stuff like this. He definitely had a good appetite. Wow, that's cruel. I'm sorry. Pamela said, my beautiful daughter of the 50s became a bitter old woman. Also, probably bipolar, not me, not really self-confident with self-portraits. Yeah, I mean, you're here, you're doing art. I don't want to be a bitter old woman. I'm probably going to be a bitter old woman, but I'm gonna try and be as not bitter as I can be. Yeah, the funny thing is that I looked in this mirror for like 5 minutes at the start and then just kind of ran with it. Yay, doing self-portrait. Alright, one of the things that I found out about myself, which is one of the weirdest things ever, when I started doing self-portraits in different angles, you know, down and up, is that I have 2 distinctly differently shaped nostrils. Look. They're like 2 different continents or something. I would not have known that until it was time to clip my nose hair. And that time will come. This description sounds like something Snake Oil says. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. But, you know, the thing is, in the Netherlands, you don't really have to, like, try hard to sell liquor. Because alcoholism is, like, part of our culture here. Hey, Kosha. My nostrils are decidedly different as well. Yeah, right? How weird is that? Now I kind of want to check everyone's nostrils to see if it's the same. Just like that time when you found out that whether or not your earlobe is attached is a genetic feature. You're like, whoa. So in terms of light, I have light coming from that direction, and I'm totally ignoring that for the most part. And what I like sometimes, what I yeah, what it makes my brain shut up is just, putting down some stuff and then seeing what happens. I like this, for instance, where the sun comes in and you can see that the charcoal actually has a little bit of glittery stuff in it. I'm often limited, and I feel limited by, you know, the fear of messing stuff up, and it limits your freedom to engage into this tactile experience. And some people are like, oh yeah, but it's just messing around with paint, and it's not. Whether it's paint or dry media, it doesn't really matter. I find that people, and myself too as well, we distinguish very clearly, like we separate hobbies, relaxation, stuff with no pressure from learning. Like now we're learning something, a skill or whatever. And I have no evidence for this. Maybe Suzanne can say something like professional about this, but I feel like your brain doesn't really understand the difference between learning and doing other stuff. It's just processing. So I feel like even if you're just zoning in on a charcoal stain and just going through it with an eraser and seeing what happens, the pressure with which you put this down is recorded in your system, and the result of it is being recorded. And I feel like even though you're maybe not drawing a realistic face, or even if you're not even drawing a realistic anything and just putting down stuff, this interaction that you have with the material contributes to your overall expertise. Whether it's in portraits or whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? But like I said before, I'm not really sure where, but probably like a million classes that I've done, it's really difficult for the brain to concentrate fully on different things, right? So trying to learn values, trying to learn how charcoal behaves, trying to learn how this new paper works, etc., etc. How's the light doing? It's doing pretty well. I have this traveling light right here. I live on the 11th floor of a building. So when there is light, there is a lot of light here. Portrait is evokes and love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is I have this brush, by the way. It's very old. And I put the tip of it into a pencil sharpener. So I normally use it to scratch into my paint. Charcoal allows for it a little bit, not too much. All right, I'm good for today. This, by the way, is gray paint on paper. Which is nice. I think it takes charcoal very well. The whole Paint On series by Clairefontaine takes charcoal well. It's very thick. Love that paper. I really enjoy this. I was very nervous at the beginning, but when am I not, right? But I really enjoyed this. This is a little bit more like I want to incorporate this again a little bit more. I've lost it a bit. I haven't done many courses. I haven't done courses for like 2 years. There's a reason for that. It's gonna be like, I'll get it back up again, going again. But I struggled a little bit with my my place within the art community as a teacher. And what I could bring to the table, being me. So this really is a vital part of it, because I'm not here to draw your perfect portraits, and I'm not always here to things need to have some kind of emotional connection. For me, that's just how I work. So thank you. We have a couple of series going right now, like we have pigments and we have colors and women artists, which I kind of miss. So I think next week we might do another color study or a painting study from a female artist. And then maybe we can change this up every week and maybe add some more, whatever you want. If you have any ideas, just let me know. Let me read the chat for a bit. Thank you, my soul feels good. Thank you. I feel good when your soul feels good, Kelly. Your courses are amazing and you've had more influence on my art than anyone. Thank you, Tana. Thank you. Susie is also here. Hi. I love self-portraits. This has been so... I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. I'm very glad. Jafar loves it. And thank you. Thank you as well. Occasional mood of philosophy. You always put things in words so very eloquently, Melissa. Thank you so much. No, please don't stop. Thank you, Pamela, for being here. Thank you, Suzanne, for being here. Been one of my most influential teachers. Guys, you make me sound like a cult leader. How cool of a cult would that be? Seriously. We shouldn't joke about that. Renata, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you all. I want to give a little shout out because there are some friends in the art community, in our community, that are struggling a little bit with health. And I didn't say anything the last couple times because Beth is not, usually Beth is in the chat and you're gonna know it because Beth is cool. And Beth had some horrible health problems, was in the hospital, so that was not like, I wasn't gonna be on social media going, yo, Beth is in the hospital, go rob her home. But Beth told me that I could say that she was, she misses us and we miss Beth. So Beth, please get better because we miss you. And also Libby, who's sometimes here, but not today, struggling, and just wanted to put that out there because the more people think about the people that are struggling right now, the better, all right? I found you through one of, oh, okay, yeah. I haven't done, what was it called? Paint Your Heart and Soul? I haven't done that in a long time. Pippi Longhouse is here. That was really cool. That was my favorite TV series. Thank you, everyone, for thinking of our friends. I love you. I love our little group, community. And again, if you have suggestions, let me know. If you want to talk some more, you can do it on social media or in the comments. I have an Instagram channel these days because I'm so cool. I have a Facebook group that you can talk in. That's it. I'm going to close the live stream now. All right, thank you for coming, and I will see you next week. Bye. Mwah.